Okay, all of you should be familiar with GameSpot by now, but do any of you remember Alex Navarro from back in the day? How about his top 10 most frightfully bad games of 2004 video? That's how I first learned about FBI hostage rescue all the way back in 2006, and it's also the reason you're getting this review because he said this in the video.
FBI Hostage Rescue is a hostage rescue game where the hostage AI is so bad they can't actually be rescued. Try getting past the first level. I dare you.
Well, challenge accepted, Alex, and I can safely say that the AI can, in fact, be rescued. It's clear to me that no one at GameSpot who was involved in reviewing this game bothered to read the manual, and there's no excuse for this, because the manual is literally 3 pages. Look at this. This is the smallest fucking manual I've ever seen, and it tells you how to get a hostage to follow you twice. And I'm pretty sure you guys picked up a new copy back in the day, which means there was a manual in there. Okay, to be fair, the text is pretty small, and you're probably going to need a magnifying glass to read it, which I'm pretty sure there was one lying around the GameSpot office somewhere, and if it wasn't, you could have gone to CVS or Walmart to get one, but okay. If you really don't want to do that, fine, I understand. That being said, there's a digital manual in the installation folder, and you can look up the controls in the options menu. So again, no excuse. Now, for the record, Alex didn't write the official review. He only talked about hostage rescue in the top 10 video. The guy who wrote the review is Scott Osborne. I've never heard of this guy before, and he doesn't even have a profile on GameSpot like most other staff at the time. But what I love is, in that review, he complained that even if you kill all the bad guys, you still have to escort the hostages to safety. Well, no shit, the game is called FBI Hostage Rescue, not FBI take out all the bad guys and go to the bar, leaving all the hostages behind. And he went on to recommend SWAT and Rainbow Six at the end, which is funny because if you take out all the bad guys first in those games, you still have to either secure the hostages or get them to safety, just like here. But to be fair, his review does have some valid points, because the game definitely has problems. It's not a good game in any sense of the word, but I wouldn't call it terrible either, because it surprised me at quite a few turns in ways I never expected from a game like this. And what's even more surprising to me is this game was made by Idle FX, the same people who brought us Drake of the 99 Dragons. Holy shit, right? So anyways, the story in Hostage Rescue is, well, there isn't any. You're a nameless, faceless FBI agent who goes out on missions to rescue hostages and kill bad guys. You got a briefing at the start of each level, and that's the closest thing you have to a story. As far as graphics go, the game was released in February 2004, and even by the standards of its time, Hostage Rescue is no looker. Some of the textures on wood surfaces don't look so bad, but besides that, they're muddy and low resolution everywhere you look, especially on character models. The animations are janky as fuck, you'll encounter the same looking hostages in every single level, and that FOV, holy shit, could you zoom in any closer? I couldn't find any way to adjust it, and the graphics options are nothing more than resolutions and other things that make little, if any, difference. And as for the sound, that's not great either. Sure, the guns don't sound too terrible, I guess, but the rest of the effects sound like they were recorded on a $5 Radio Shack mic. And as for the voice acting, you'll hear the same 5 lines from the bad guys and hostages every level, and the guy who voices the bad guys also voices your character. He didn't even bother trying to make his voice sound any different, and the acting itself is hilariously overdone.
This is over, I'm building myself a pool. Who's that? I don't want to die! Oh, I sure hope we get out of this alive. Hope we get out of this alive. I wonder when this is gonna be over. I got a bad feeling about this. When this is over, I'm building myself a pool. I sure hope we get out of this alive. Follow me. Subject neutralized.
But you know what? I get the feeling whoever voiced these characters was very aware of the quality of the game he was acting for, so there is a bit of charm to it. And as for the music, it's not great, but it's subtle enough to the point where at times it gives the game a very tense and unnerving atmosphere. So it's not that bad. Although, here's something really funny. Does anyone remember the TV show Transformers: Robots in Disguise from 2001? There are times during that show where you can hear the main menu music from Hostage Rescue in that show. Here's a little clip. Gameplay-wise, Hostage Rescue is the discount SWAT 3. Or 4, whichever one you like, even though SWAT 4 wasn't out yet. But anyways, you'd be forgiven for thinking this game is a team-based tactical shooter because the entirety of the box, and even all the way up to starting the first level, is very convincing. You get a briefing and a layout of whatever place you're rescuing people from before the start of every level, and you get 8 guns and 2 types of grenades to choose from. You can only carry 3 weapons, and the grenades count as one of your choices if you pick them, just like in SWAT, but don't be fooled by any of this. First off, there's no team that goes with you. You're gonna do all the fighting and rescuing by yourself. That cop at the rescue point, he just stands there staring off into space for all eternity. And second, you can choose any 3 weapons you want. So you can carry a sniper, assault rifle, and shotgun all in the same go, and you don't have to take the grenades if you don't want to. As far as the actual gameplay, if you don't sprint, you walk very slowly, and you've got a variety of ways you can interact with the doors. You can press the open key to open them a small bit to see if a bad guy's there, hold the key to open them normally, if you crouch and open them, you open them very slowly and quietly, and if you kick them, you can knock them open, but only if they swing away from you. If a door is locked, you can use the lockpick for a quiet entrance, or take a shotgun and shoot the lock off, which you're better off doing because sneaking is almost completely useless here. And when it's down to fighting, there's not that many bad guys in the levels, and some of them spawn in different areas each time you play, as well as some of the hostages. Again, kinda like SWAT. I never fought more than a dozen bad guys, but most of the time I was fighting about 3 to 5. But you can also die with only a handful of bullets, and I didn't find any way to refill my health. You can also try getting them to surrender and then arrest them, and if they give up, you have to cuff them quickly or at least pick up the gun they dropped, or they might try to attack you again. But unlike SWAT, there's no penalty if you kill them. You just don't get as high of a score at the end, and you don't need to get a certain score to pass to the next level, which makes me wonder why the scoring system is even there. Now on top of all this, you're also battling against the time limit. Luckily, rescuing hostages always adds more time, about 2 minutes per hostage rescued, but still, the pressure can definitely build up on later levels. Yeah. Hostage Rescue is either a pretender or confused about what it wants to be, and the quality of just about everything it has to offer is mediocre at best. But as I said earlier, that doesn't make it a bad game despite its janky and very unpolished gameplay, and hearing me say that surprises me a lot because when I was first playing this, I thought it was a bad game. I wasn't having any fun, I was getting really pissed off, but after I calmed down, I noticed it was the same reason I got angry when I was playing SWAT. I'd be on a nice little roll, got my groove going on, then I make one wrong move, and boom, dead. I didn't see a bad guy hiding in the corner, or I got taken out by a tripwire bomb I didn't know was there, and it was right back to the start of the level. And the same thing has happened to me plenty of times when playing SWAT and Rainbow Six. So, once I got past that phase and played through more of the game, I noticed underneath the mediocre quality and the janky gameplay, Hostage Rescue has a damn good variety of levels that not only kept me engaged, but also made me want to keep playing. Because every time you get to a new level, it always ups the ante a little bit, adding in a new challenge and throwing a wild card into the mix every now and then. The first level is your standard fare kill the bad guys and rescue the hostages, but the second level takes place on a highway where a few bad guys are holding a bus full of people hostage. Once you get the hang of this level, it's pretty easy. You just kill the bad guys and you're done. You can breeze through it in under a minute once you know how it works. Level 3 is the same as Level 1, except now there's tripwire bombs which you have to look out for, because they can kill you instantly, and they're very easy to miss on your first time playing through. There's 3 ways you can disarm them. You can walk up to them and hold down the action key, shoot them, or if you're far enough away from the bomb itself, you can trip the wire without it hurting you. Level 4 is the only level that doesn't have any hostages. You're just there to take out the bad guys and get the counterfeit money printers they've been using. But we've got multiple towers with snipers, and this level takes place at night, so it can be pretty tough. In Level 5, you have bad guys, hostages, tripwire bombs, and other bombs that not only need to be disarmed, but they also operate on their own separate time limit. Meaning, when the level starts, you've got 5 minutes to disarm those 3 bombs. Rescuing the hostages does not increase the amount of time you have to disarm them. Level 6 is pretty much the same as Level 1, except the hostages are now wearing the same masks that the bad guys are wearing, which might cause you to accidentally shoot one when you open a door and see one of them. And the bad guys are now a lot more aggressive than they normally are. Level 7 is the most interesting one out of the bunch. It starts you off on a plane and you don't have a gun. I couldn't figure out how to beat this level at first, and it's only blind luck I found a user review for this game explaining how to do it. You have to go down to the luggage compartment underneath the passenger seats and find a gun down there. It could be in one of 3 different locations across the compartment. Then you have to take out 4 bad guys, free a few hostages, and disarm a couple bombs. Also, I would be careful where you shoot. You are on an airplane after all. And level 8 is unfortunately where I'm stuck. I must have tried like 30 times to beat this level, and I couldn't. In this level, some of the hostages have bombs strapped to them, and you can't make too much noise because if you or the bad guys fire off too many bullets, and this little red bar fills up, you'll go from having 15 minutes to finish the level down to just 2, because apparently the lead bad guy is now aware of your presence and has activated the bombs. However, if you kill him, you won't have to worry about this anymore, and he's always in the same spot. This was all well and good once I figured that out, but then I noticed it was still next to impossible because the bad guys are not only overly aggressive, they also have a newfound case of superhuman pinpoint accuracy, and there's a dozen of them. I'm sorry guys, but I couldn't beat it, and that really sucks because I was enjoying this game. I know that sounds strange. I like a game I couldn't beat, but think of it this way. I couldn't beat Demon's Souls either. In fact, I got a lot further in Hostage Rescue than I did in Demon's Souls, but I still enjoyed that game nonetheless. The only real problems I have with Hostage Rescue besides level 8 is that you can't lean around corners, which would have definitely helped in that level, and there's no light source to brighten the place up when going into dark areas. No night vision goggles, no flashlight, nothing. Not only that, but the draw distance is pretty shitty, and as I said earlier, in level 4, you have snipers who can hit you when they're just on the edge of your vision, while you can barely make them out. And because it takes place at night, the only option you have is to turn up the brightness. And there's no way to do it in the game, so you have to turn it up on your TV or monitor. That and the AI can be a little stupid at times. And it mostly happened on level 8. Jesus, what is up with this level? But the only time they really start acting stupid is when you try rescuing more than one hostage at a time, because then, for some reason, all of a sudden they don't know left from right. They crash into each other, go running off to random places. Just don't do it if you're trying to actually beat the level, because then they do in fact become so stupid they can't be rescued. Besides that, the save system is garbage. You only get 6 slots to save your game, and there's no level select option. I know there's only 10 levels, but really? Come on, IdleFX, you couldn't put a goddamn level select option in there? And that's it. So what's the verdict? Surprising. Objectively, it's very janky, the quality of most of the things here is poor at best, and there's plenty of better options out there, but I also went into this expecting something awful, even though the entire basis for my preconception was a review from GameSpot. Hey, cut me some slack here. This review was from 2004, 3 years before they totally went down the toilet. This review caught me by surprise because most of their reviews from this time still had some credibility. But anyways, I went into it expecting a bad game, and instead I found a game that kept me entertained for a while, if nothing else. I don't know, maybe it's because I have an affinity for janky games, if my love for Alone in the Dark, Inferno, and Vampire Reign is anything to indicate, but calling this an awful game is simply unfair. Because even though the people behind this game were also behind Drake of the 99 Dragons, they also brought us Nosferatu, the Wrath of... I can't pronounce that last word. Which I haven't played it at the time this review has been posted, but from what I've read from reviews posted at the time of its release and the modern reviews I've watched on YouTube, it seems to be a decent game. Now, is FBI Hostage Rescue worth checking out? I would say yes, because you can easily get it for free. Thanks to yours truly, it's now on myabandonware.com, and I've left a link in the description. The thing about this game is that it works right out of the box, even if the disc isn't in the drive, so you don't even have to install it. You just download the files, move it to wherever you want, and hit play. And that's it. I'll see you on the next review, folks. Alright kids, thanks for watching. If you're already subbed to the channel or are about to, be sure to hit the bell so you get notified when I post a video, hit the like button, and give me some feedback. I don't care if it's good or bad.